Ever pondered the reasons behind our unpreparedness for the 2008 crisis? Have you ever considered why all the warning signs were disregarded? Let's take a closer look at modern monetary theory, commonly known MMT, to seek some clarity. Prior to the 2008 recession, economists specializing in MMT were already sounding the warning. They recognized the red flags, foretold the impending storm, but their cautionary tales fell on deaf ears. A significant forecast came during the Clinton administration, where the budget surplus was depleting private savings, prompting MMT economists to warn of an imminent crisis. While we were busy admiring the ship, they spotted the iceberg. In the world of economics, finding a crystal ball is as difficult as finding a unicorn. Yet MMT economists foresaw the looming chaos. Unfortunately, their foresight was dismissed, their warnings unheard. Hence, the storm arrived, unexpected and catastrophic. MMT economists saw the storm brewing while others were basking in the sun. While others were obsessing over public debt, MMT was looking elsewhere. Guess what they found? Instead of being swayed by the hysteria over Greece's public debt, modern monetary theorists were busy examining the less glamorous world of private debt. They discovered that the buildup of private debt was the real ticking time bomb, not just in Greece but in the United States too. This focus allowed them to predict the US recession, a call that most mainstream economists missed, but their insights didn't stop there. When the world was bracing for hyperinflation due to quantitative easing, MMT economists were again one step ahead. They modeled how quantitative easing would affect inflation, and their predictions hit the mark. Instead of triggering runaway inflation, quantitative easing had a much more muted impact, just as MMT had forecasted. When everyone else was looking at the leaves, MMT was studying the roots. Deficits, austerity, investments, three words that stir up a lot of heat. But what if we've been looking at them the wrong way? Modern monetary theory, or MMT, has repeatedly shown us that traditional economic wisdom might not always hold true. Take austerity, for example. MMT economists knew it wasn't necessary for the United States. Even as the country grappled with record deficits in 2020, interest rates fell. But that's not all. MMT also provided a fresh perspective on deficits. Instead of being a deterrent, they argued that deficits can crowd in private investment. And what happened in 2020 supports this. As deficits grew, so did private investment. The result? Incomes rose and poverty fell dramatically. So, what does this all tell us? It's simple. In the world of economics, sometimes up is down and down is up. Inflation, the big bad wolf of economics. But what if the wolf is in another forest? Modern monetary theory, or MMT, has a knack for looking in unexpected places. They've long argued that inflation can persist even when central banks raise interest rates, if root causes like supply issues aren't addressed. Sounds unconventional, right? Well, it played out just like they predicted in Europe. But MMT didn't stop there. They also warned of the dangers of countries borrowing in foreign currencies. If you remember the 2008 euro crisis, you'll know they hit the nail on the head. Countries found themselves in a bind, their debts ballooning as the value of their own currencies fell. Inflation, foreign currencies, economic crises, MMT has time and again shown the ability to navigate these complex waters and provide accurate forecasts, even when traditional economic schools were left scratching their heads. MMT's compass points true even when others are spinning. So, what's the moral of this economic tale? Well, let's recap. Modern monetary theory, or MMT, has consistently been on the money with its predictions and insights. While traditional economists were fixated on public debt, MMT economists saw the looming danger in private debt. They warned about the 2008 recession years in advance, but their cautionary words fell on deaf ears. When Clinton's budget surplus drained private savings, MMT economists foresaw a crisis on the horizon, and they were spot on. They also accurately modeled how quantitative easing would impact inflation, and the data backed them up. MMT understood that austerity wasn't necessary for the US, and even with record deficits, interest rates fell in 2020. Furthermore, MMT economists have demonstrated that deficits can stimulate private investment, and their stance on inflation has proven to be more precise than traditional economic schools of thought. Time and again, MMT has made the right calls. It's high time policymakers start listening.